Shalom Bracha. Baruch Hashem. This past week was Shabbos Parshas Parah. Yesterday we learned the Tahara from Parah Aduma. We learned the Navi Yecheskel for Haftarah, Perek Lamed Vav, which he spoke about, which could be is one of the most clear, most important Nevi'as for the Haftacha of Klal Yisrael coming back to Eretz Yisrael, no matter what that situation is. We spoke about Rashit, that there are two parshas of Teshuva and two parshas of Geula, one which has to do with Teshuva and one which has to do without Teshuva. Just in the schus with Klal Yisrael is Moshe Nefesh for the Rebbeinu Shalom, and stayed fast, stood strong all along the whole Galus. That itself is a reason for Klal Yisrael to be taken out of Galus, even if they don't do Teshuva. We spoke about this Arichas, and we mentioned the Navi, and that is what the Navi is talking about in last week in the Haftarah from Parshas Parah. I'm not doing it for you. I'm only taking you out of the Galus for my name, which you are machal in Galus. My big name through bringing you to Yisrael. I will purify you from all your tumas and Leiv Chodosh, Riach Chadash, I will give you a new ruach, new heart. V'asireisi es lev evem mibsarichem, I will take away your stone from your heart. I'll take away the heart of stone from your flesh. V'nesati lechem leiv basa, I will give you a heart of flesh. And I'll give you my ruach. Well, here is fascinating words. Moshe will take us to Yisrael. It's going to clean us. And he can make us a surgery, a heart transplant, a neshama transplant, a ruach transplant. And we're going to do what the Rebbeinu Shalom wants from us. All this while we were mechal shem shamayim and galus, not because we do tshuva. We spoke about from the Ramban that one thing we do need is serious nefesh of Klal Yisrael in galus. And the Bali Tosfos in Devarim Perek Yud Aleph Pasuk Chavav, they bring this pasuk and they explain it. How are we going to get v'sereisius leva evim mibsarchem v'sati lechem leiv basar? And through this, Ki Imala Oretz Deis Hashem. It says, the Baal Tosfos says, that's Masham, this psukim, that everyone's going to know Hashem. Ki Imala Oretz Deis Hashem, which is going in the Moshe Mashiach. Through what? Through Hasirosi Love Evim Mesarchem. So how is it that, what are we going to be Zoicha? What are we going to do to be Zoicha, to have this? Abish is going to take away the Yetzirah from us. Everyone's going to be recognizing Hashem. Zokt Bal Tosfos. Lemois Mashiach Yava Kol Yetzirah Shabba'olam. Abish is going to take Mois Mashiach, take away the Yetzirah from the world. Why? V'lekach HaGolus Orach Kol Kach. This is the reason why the Golus is so long. Sheyiskapri by Kolav and Eseinu Kadesha. We should have kapara of all our avoidance, all betzaris rabbis Ashavalnu. In Tzaras Rabbish that we were soivel, we didn't forget Hashem's name. And this is going to be the reason why this it's mashma from the Baal Tosfos. What he's saying is that like we said over in Ramban, that we stood fast, we stood strong. We were Moshe Nefesh. We had all the tzaras possible. Those tzaras are mechaper on us. That itself is, we'll call it a form of tshuva. Even though it's not totally tshuva, it's not tshuva. Mamish, but it's a much deeper tshuva. It's a tshuva of a pnimizdig tshuva, which connects us to Hashem. It's a tshuva that shows us our connection to Hashem. Not just a tshuva on chet or not. Not just a tshuva we should be zeich to the gula. We stood fast. We stood strong. And that's chus, it's going to be v'seresi lev es lev evan b'sarchem. Not only is that going to be a reason for us to have a gula, like the Ramban says, that itself, that kapara is going to create our soft heart. All the tzaras of the gullus is going to soften our heart. Through that, we'll be makin Hashem. The Rosh Yeshivas HaNegev, B'Socha Meir, Talmud from Dessler, it was one of the Gedolim after the war. He said about the Gezach. He said that before the Milchama, people had deus, they were strong in deus, no one was able to change them. They knew what their life wants to be. They had it all planned out, and they were strong akshonis. And Kamat, no one was the to Hashem. The heart of Klal Yisrael was hard. V'alev shel Klal Yisrael hoya kosher. It was a leiva even. And the Orish of Tshuva did not go in. He said, but after the Second World War, after the Shoyim, the Sirabi Ummah Mal Tavis, yes, in our generation we have Tavis. It was Maribi Tavis, which they didn't have before the Second World War. But Halev Farei Kosher, V'hasiresi leiva even. Doesn't bring the pasuk, but those are the words he uses. The heart is not hard anymore. We have a soft heart. With a satichem leiv basar. Klal Yisrael is already niftach the tshuva. He says, how did we get a leiv basar? Avodas hatzadikim shebeshoya. That was the sibah for the soft heart. We said over last year that in the schus of the tzaddikim already said b'shas ma'aseh when they were going to Kiddush Hashem that we're going to build the new generation. We're going to build the generation of the Geula through our Kiddush, going al Kiddush Hashem. Zaki b'socha meir, right away over there in his times, already he saw that after the Second World War, the Leiva Evan that Klal Yisrael had, that didn't want to budge from their movements, it already became soft. This is what Balataisa says, that the is going to be through the tzaras of the Gullus, what was Soivel the Gullus. That caused a soft heart. That's going to cause the soft heart. And that's what caused it. And that's what going to happen. In other places he goes on, he speaks about what's going on after the war. And he says there were two different groups after the war. There was those that didn't do tshuva. But a lot of them, even if they didn't do tshuva l'maaseh, the heart already started thinking differently. Slowly but surely, it opened up. And this is what he's saying, that the heart already started doing tshuva. Right after the war, the hearts became soft. He said that before the war of Hashoya, no, he says like this: the before the Second World War, there was a tremendous riach kfir in the world before the Second World War. But the Machama and the Shoya and the Shavru Ruach Zu says that the Second World War destroyed the ruach kfura that was causing terror on the Klal Yisrael, on the whole world. And after that he says, Niftach Pesach Shal-Ora, Libnis and Aroslis, the Ruach Kfura got destroyed, and the Pesach Shal-Or got opened to build the destruction and all over the world in order to build them up. And this is what caused what we see today. Same idea as Rebbe Tzachar Meir, that the Ruach Kfira, the Leiv Kasha, that was around before the war, causing terror, Shem Kamoisei, got destroyed through the Second World War. Reb David Povarsky, Rosh Yeshiva from Panovich, he speaks about Barichis and Sefer Musaf B'das, about the matzav of Klal Yisrael before the First World War. And before the Second World War, before the First World War. And he says we would think the Tzoros and the Shach HaMatzav, we would think Hashem should have opened up a Pesach Shel Or. But he said, but then came the First World War, it got even darker. Then the communists and all different things. And then Hitler. And it was keeping on getting darker and darker and darker. And we didn't see Yeshua. We would think that we were so low that Hashem should have helped us, but He didn't. We kept on getting darker. But after the Second World War, we see that the heart, the stimas halev, the verstoppte hearts, the clogged heart got ripped open. And just like in the morning, the light starts trickling out for a little by little, we see already, like after the war, that's how it was, like the beginning of the Geula. Chazal say that like the beginning of Geula is a little bit light, stronger and stronger. And right after the war, we saw that the heart started opening up. We don't see it, and we're not margish it. Oh, but there are already simonim of this Or. Those people who remember the people from before the First World War and in between the wars, I don't want to talk about, he says. But today, those that understand what was before and after, not like in our generation. We're holding 70 years after the Second World War. We imagine as the world was always like this. Such a beautiful world. So much Tamid Chachamim, so much Yerei Mishleim, so many Baal Tshuvas, so many Yidden on the Skarev to Yahadus. We don't blink an eye when someone wants to do Tshuva. But Zok Reb David Povarsky, this came through, after, see it inside, but through all the Tzoros, Tzeruros, after the Second World War, Hashem opened up our hearts. Slowly but surely, he says, even though we don't see it, he's talking about in his times, even though we don't see it, but being Mizgash and Mamish, but he already saw the Simonim, we already see the Lamaisa. And we see how Hashem shining in the hearts of all the Yiddish Kinder, Lichtigkeit. And he says, and the Or is getting stronger and stronger. And I'm saying Edis to you, that the Or is getting stronger and stronger. We have no clue what the Choshech was once in the world, before the Second World War, before the First World War. He says you could have tapped the Choshech. Whoever didn't see it, no, you can't understand that the Hamas carried, that the Tzoros and the carried the Klal Yisrael was going through, they weren't listening to. There was nothing changing in Klal Yisrael from all the Tzoros. It was getting worse and worse. Today, with the Maisa, we see the Bnei Torah getting stronger and bigger and stronger. And L'maisa roim ba'alul shnei toiv Yosef b'nei Torah hayom hebi harbi Yosef ma'shahoya oz roim kikenim ahalach v'rakach. This is what he speaks about, the same idea, like Sachamer and like Menachem Vachvogel. And after the Second World War, we were able to see mean margish that hasirois lechem leiva even b'sarchem b'sarchem lechem leiv basar. If you don't understand what it means, Leva Evan, you won't understand what it means Lev Basar. This is what David Barska say. In order to understand Lev Evan, Lev Basar, you have to understand what it means Lev Evan. Only someone that experienced it could understand that. Zaman Siratzchen also was lifted before the 6-Day War. And he was interviewed the army journalist. And he was always very confident, even before the Second World War, that he's not going to do tshuva. But he was always very confident that the time has come for the tshuva. We spoke about this Barichas, how the G'dai Yisrael saw the tshuva movement coming Lamaisa. And so he asked him, the reporter asked him, you believe still in our generation that you still believe what you held, that they're going to do tshuva? He says, yes, of course, and we see it in our generation. First of all, he said that Hashem was maftiach us, that lo yidach nidach, that there's going to be, no one's going to be left behind. There's going to be a ruach shel tshuva on the world. And he's going to, but he says that we see that already today. That we see that in the Chilonim, in the Freie people, we see already gaguim for the Das Yisrael. Yeah, of course they want to be maharis, everything, but we still see in Bisharsha, we see something changing. We see the ground under them is shaking. He says even people that were lost their emunah, faith in Hashem, they still have a tremendous chukah to give over their children to Vatayri de Gechinach. There might be there's even some different reasons, because they're so empty, there's nothing, no ideology over there, and they find there's only good children, the Yiddishkeit. But still, there's something that the earthquake is starting, and they're giving over the kids to Yiddish children, to Chinuch. And the parents, he says, are begging us, take our children, bring them up, Amunah, just to have a healthy upbringing. He says, this is a shpah from Shemayim. They see what the end is going to be, and they're doing tshuva. And if they don't do tshuva, the kids do tshuva. And the kids end up making their parents do tshuva. And this is what he saw already before, after the Muhammad, before the 6-Day War. Simcha Wasserman, the son of Rebbe Chanan, he went over to Los Angeles to live. And Rebbe Chanan told him to go move to America when he was in London, Rebbe Chanan. And this was in Shnas Tofshin Yid Gimel, 9 years after the Second World War. He built his yeshiva, Arel Chanan, and this is 70 years ago. And he says like this, he saw already then, within 10 years of the Muhammad, that people are really coming to do curve to be miscarried to Hashem. And he saw the beginning of Hine Yomim Bom Im Hashem Vishlachti Rov LaOretz LeRov LeLechem LeTzom LaMayim Kiyim L'Shmoya Dvar Hashem. He saw it trickling in. He saw the tzimeya of Yidden coming back to Yiddishkeit. He gave for a whole year, he gave a shir on Parshas Noach. Whole year, Parshas Noach. The Yidden that were far from Torah and mitzvahs. Once in 2 weeks, he would give this shir. In the beginning of the year, there was not one shoyim Torah and mitzvahs. Within a year, when the year was over, the of them were already Shem Shabbos. And he pointed out how strong Koich HaTorah, just the Parashas Noach, a whole year, once in 2 weeks, had the Koich to be bringing back. But he said it wasn't just the Koich HaTorah, it was the Koich HaTorah of Hine Yom B'Avnim Hashem, Hishlachti Rov Ha'oyez Alo V'Lechem L'Tzom L'Mayim, Kiyim L'Shmoya Dvar Hashem. This is within 10 years of the Second World War. And he said, yes, these are Yechidim. But they're not Yechidim. They're just going to keep on growing and getting stronger and stronger and stronger. And this is what we want to, as Hashem, come forth with over the next few shirim. But before we get to see the Hine Yom Bom Ne'im Hashem, before that we have to understand that we just spoke about the Tshuva movement, how last year we spoke about the Tshuva, how also the ones that were actually survived the war and kept the Yahadis, what kind of tshuva that was. And now we see how all the isms and all the It's hard before the Second World War got destroyed and the hearts opened up. And before that, we spoke about the Second World War, the Yidden when al-Kiddush Hashem, how that formulated everything afterwards. And before that, we spoke about the tshuva of the Elach Yidden, which the Chavetz Chaim said is the kiyum of the pasuk. V'shavta et Hashem Elokecha, v'shamata b'koiloi v'chalash anoich b'tzavcha hayom. All this is as we see, is a system where Hashem has in us for us to progress in tshuva and come close to Him. Starting off with tshuva mamash from the Elach Yidden before the war, going into the tshuva of there were those that even the Chalonim did tshuva before the Second World War. We have to speak about. And then there was the Mesiras Nefesh of the Yidden al-Kiddush Hashem, and then there was they stayed strong by the Yahadus afterwards. And now we see how this the order from tshuva is starting to trickle in between the Second World War and the 6-Day War, which brought the major Olam HaTshuva to Lamaisa. But in between this, we have to stick in one more inyan about how Eretz Yisrael is a fundamental part of the Tshuva movement. And this all comes intertwined, as the Psukim and Tanakh put it, that this is a very important part of the Tshuva movement. As Hashem, that will be the next share.